Hi, it's Neil here from Wedding Help. This is episode 26 of the Wedding Help NI podcast. Of course, Wedding Help NI is Northern Ireland's largest platform for anybody getting married. You can find out all the information at www.weddinghelpni.com. Episode 26, and my guest today is Michelle from Bella Torta. Michelle, how are you? How's things?
Not too bad, thank you.
Are you nervous in the podcast?
God, yeah.
We don't know what we're at, do we?
No.
But we'll get through it. So take us right back. How did you start on the wedding cakes, and how did everything come along?
Probably like most, I have young kids, so I would have done wee things for them for school. And it was actually the second oldest had started primary school, and I had sent in bloody eyeballs for Halloween one day, and the school were like, you need to start selling stuff, you need to get out there, and I was like, get yourself on. Nobody's going to want it.
Did you have a background in baking, or was it something whenever you grew up?
Well, my husband's a chef. Well, was a chef for 20 odd years, he's left chefing now. But no, we've always just done wee bits and pieces, nothing fancy.
So whenever you're growing up, maybe a bit of baking, nothing to
what it is now. Rice Krispie buns back in the day and things like that. But yeah, just from when the kids started school, things, took off. I started doing like wee mini cupcake bouquets, and that's what got me out there. And then it's just grown and grown since. Went from that to celebration cakes to weddings now, and
I suppose making that move as well from I suppose doing birthday cakes or like celebration cakes and the weddings.
Oh, it's a whole different ballgame.
I'm sure the because funny, like I was doing a wedding about a month ago. I was leaving letters off at the Four Seasons in Mutton. And I think it was a family friend that they got to do the wedding cake. You can just see the nerves in the girl. Because I think it was I've never done this before, and you just see nerves. But it is one of them things. A wedding cake's so important.
It is. And I don't think those nerves ever go away.
No
matter how many, you still get the wee shaky hand.
And how long have you been doing the wedding cakes? How long?
Oh, probably about 5 years. 7 or 8 cakes in general, and probably just over 5 weddings.
And is that how long the Bella Torta name's been?
Yeah, from get-go it's been Bella Torta, yeah.
And tell us how that came about and how that sort of...
So my husband would call me Belle. So
there we go, the love things there already, because that's affectionate name. So there we go.
So yeah, he called me Belle, and then for cakes and stuff I just googled different languages. And Torta came up, it's Italian, so I thought, that sounds a wee bit fancy. So
and you thought, well, I'm from County Down and we're going to be fancy.
Yeah. We're not that fancy down that way.
And so how long are you married yourself?
Oh God, we're only married 4 years, but we're together 21 years.
Right.
So we done it a bit back to front. We had kids.
But that must have been really good because you were making wedding cakes, so you sort of knew a lot of vendors. No, I'm sure that all helped them.
Yeah, well, we were awkward and decided to go to England and get married.
Right.
So but it was on the Wedding Help NI when I was planning my own wedding, just for inspiration and that.
I suppose for a couple getting married as well, it's one of them things. Well, I think for me, I like to eat cakes and stuff, but apart from that, I don't know much about, and I suppose couples don't really think about it, flavours and stuff like that, Tell us a bit about that, or tell us how do you decide stuff like that? You would hear about traditional stuff like, you might have that traditional layer and cake and stuff.
Like the fruitcake sort of
thing.
And stuff, it's sort of really, it's not as popular anymore. So it's usually the couples, maybe their granny or their granddad, like sit with the cup of tea.
Like I remember we had the fruitcake, and there was tradition, I think you kept it and stuff like that, but
a lot of that has sort of been done away with. Few wee elements, like I've had a few couples that have kept their top tier, even though it's not a fruitcake, and then take that out of the freezer for their first anniversary. I know it used to be tradition, I think their first baby, but that's not always the case with every.
And I suppose with cakes now as well, within the flavours, there's so much you can choose from.
It's such a vast variety. It's not, you're just plain vanilla or you're plain chocolate. Like we do a berry pistachio, we do a biscoff caramel latte, lemon and coconut.
And these are things I suppose you'd never think about as a wedding, or but there you go. It's stuff with flavours that people like and stuff as well.
Yeah. So we would send the list of all the different flavours we do, but we always say if you have a favourite that's not on the list, let us know. If you don't ask, you don't get.
And how many flavours do you have on the list?
At the minute we have 12.
Right.
And then every so often I'll just change it up a wee bit. I'll keep the classics, you know, what's popular, and bring in different like alternative flavours just to see how they go. Just to shake things up a bit, because you know you can get a bit bored with the same flavours and that.
For booking yourself, like I suppose like any vendor as well, do it, you know, as far in advance, I suppose. Really get on there with bookings and
like I
stuff.
am taking bookings right up until 2027 and provisional bookings for 2028. So they can let me know their date and I can give them quotes based on the current prices. But it is subject to change with everything going up in price.
And I suppose as well with you, it's something that you're, you know, because you're making it, it's not like, you know, it's not like a service like say like me in entertainment where you're really buying me to come along and do something. You know, you have products there, you have things, and inflation will happen there, I suppose, as well. I know. I feel sorry for anybody doing them sort of vendor, because you can't predict, I suppose, how it's going to go.
So that's why I would just give the provisional booking, and then at the start of so I would do 2 years in advance. So what are we, 25? So 2026. I'll pop them a message and say, right, this is what the price is going to be, and then they can decide if they want to book then. And
travel-wise and stuff like that,
I go anywhere.
You're happy enough to get out and about.
I always say I have 4 kids at home, so doing a wedding's a wee day out for me. So
it's a big adventure then.
Yeah. Oh, I'll go anywhere. I've been to both ends of Donegal and that, Sleeve Russell. I love it, because you see parts of the country that you wouldn't see otherwise.
Of course. And Donegal for you, that is a good run, because you're literally down by Newcastle, Seaford, that direction. So you're you know, it is opposite then.
It's a
I always think if I'm gigging around Newcastle, you know, Newcastle going down, and it's like, oh no, you know, because you think you're in Belfast and then you're still in Or. Do you know what I mean? You're still in Or, you know. So you don't mind travelling. Is there any sort of thing, you know, with weddings, you can do more than one of, say, on a day, can you? Or what way does that work?
It will depend. So where I am, I have a couple of venues quite close to me, like the Millbrook and the Mill of Ballydugan. So if I have a wedding there, I'll do it, and if I have one slightly further away, I can do it. But if I'm, you know, up and down the country,
it only works,
that wouldn't work.
It only works so much.
Because I'm only one person. I don't have a team. And
what way does it work then for, say, couples that want to book? Can they get samples, or what way does that work? You know?
So I do samples. I try and do them most months, but obviously when you have your busy season period, that's not possible.
Once sort of May to October hits on, it's really
so we are sort of winding down with them now until probably October time. But I would do a wee post and just say if anybody wants to order a taster box. You don't even have to be getting married. Anybody can order them. But now is the time.
There you go, Peter. Hey, we can order them, so we can. We're all good. So if you get emails now from us, you're going to be saying them boys keep all ordering.
But I have people that I've had brides that have ordered 2 or 3 boxes, even though it's the same flavour, just because they like them that much. I've had past brides reorder.
It's brilliant. So it is too.
So it is.
That's brilliant. So it is.
But anybody can order them, and the box has all 12 flavours, so you don't have to worry about missing out on a flavour. You get a sample of every flavour that's on the list at that time.
Very good, very good.
So you just need a wee bottle of Prosecco.
Tell us now, the new business or the new venture. And you were actually saying to me there before we come on the podcast, you know about it, you were right at the last web fair. Tell us, so it's the Bella Torta, it's a bar, isn't it?
It is. So back in September of 2024, we launched Ireland's only cake bar.
So tell us what a cake bar, you know. You were asking, you said to me, you should know what this is.
You were eating at it.
You were eating at it.
So like you have your waffle bars and you have your dessert carts that do tray bakes and cookies. So what sets us apart is that we are a cake bar. So it's a different form of entertainment for your guests. They come up and they're picking their sponge base, then they're choosing their buttercream, their toppings and their sauces. So they're essentially creating their own wee individual cake to their liking.
Brilliant.
So there's less wastage. I know you've probably been to weddings and maybe the cake hasn't been touched, or there's
I always think it's a real pity now. I know now they've started to sort of cut the cake earlier and stuff in the day. It's starting to, because I always thought it was wild that, you know, like after the meals, and you know what, it's nearly taken the
after your meal
it's taken to the kitchen and it's never looked at, like and it can be awful, like so. So I see now they started to put it out, you know, the afternoon drinks or something. I've heard, like, you know, for mad a wedding at that time.
I would give my couples tips and that, like at wedding shows and that, whether they book with me or anybody else, that no cake should be going to waste. any cake that's left at the end of the day, portion it up yourself, double wrap it in cling film, tinfoil, and in the freezer. And there's something for a cup of tea months down the line. There should not be wastage.
I think that is important too, because you know, as you say, there shouldn't be wastage, and you know what, there's lots of guests there, well, they're taking it home with them, or what they're doing with try and get
and I know day twos are becoming popular, so if you don't eat it, there's something for
a great
day
idea
two.
There, isn't it, too?
So you know, weddings, they're not cheap. So you don't want to see your cake going in the bin.
Exactly.
So because of that is why we then launched the cake bar. Because you can maybe choose a flavour that you love, but your guests aren't too fond on.
And how does that work just on the day with the cake bar suit?
So
would that normally be like
there.
afternoon drinks, or what time
so
does that?
So we can be there after your ceremony, your drinks reception, or if you want us after the meal, or if you're wanting something for the evening, we can be there. Just let me know when to turn up, and it's not self-service or anything, so I'd be there personally serving your guests. So I do all the clean up and take everything.
I think that's good, because you know, as well, even with that, like, you know, the wedding, and I think for guests, you sort of just go with the flow. But if something's there, and you're nearly getting handed it, you're going to use it. You know, whereas sometimes with the wedding cake, you know,
you have to just sort of eat it there.
Or unless it's really handed to you by the hotel, which sometimes it isn't. You know, the hotels just take the cake to the kitchen, and it's never, you know, after the cut, you never see it again. And always, so I like the idea of the cake bar. That's really good.
And they all come in their own wee individual tins with lids. So you don't have to eat it there and then.
It's brilliant.
You just pop the lid on, and you know yourself, once you have a few wee drinks, you get the munchies before the meal comes out, then you can tuck into it.
How did you come up with that? Did you just
I've seen it in America, of all places.
There you go. Yeah. They're so ahead, aren't they? Like with trends and stuff, you know.
And I was just like, I can't believe I didn't think of doing this.
Even you be chatting to photographers now, and they be saying now in America, like, they're doing everything like a day before. You know, they do like all the shoots a day before, and then on the day of the wedding, it's just relaxed. Sort of thing. They're going cheaper, so you know but that probably will happen here at some point.
Probably will make its way. Everything seems to.
It does.
Yeah.
So on social media and stuff, where do you find out about yourself? Or?
So I'm on Facebook and Instagram. I am on TikTok. I just haven't mastered TikTok.
It's one of them things. Were you at our social media day where TikTok?
I was at it. Yeah.
I thought that was brilliant.
It was really good.
There was lots of information.
Got some good tips in that there, and even like the booking system and stuff like that. We went with that booking system, so we're just working on that. It's a work in progress.
Brilliant. I always think with TikTok as well, because I'm on TikTok, and Peter, you'll agree, you're on Peter, our producer here, he's TikTok famous, so as you know, it's. But
I'll be hitting him off for some tips.
He's a badly hit for tips, so is. But I always think, and we've talked about it, TikTok, you sort of have to get yourself out there. You have to become the person yourself. And you know what? I don't mind showing my work. But whenever you have to sort of come on camera and be all, you know, I just can't do it. I can't.
I'm like that. I take so many videos, and then I'm looking at them, I'm like, delete. I'm like, and then I have none.
Exactly. You know, so it's hard to do. Like, so. And is that all under Bella Torta on?
Bella Torta, so Instagram and Facebook.
Aye.
And then you can pop me an email or WhatsApp me. We don't have a website as yet. We are wanting to do a website, but there's just so much going on.
You're all going. You're a mauler, so it's all going.
4 girls, so trying to work cakes around
busy,
that.
So
yeah, and then we're going to also be launching something new,
right?
As well, as if I'm not already busy. In the next couple of weeks, so keep an eye on the socials for that.
There you go.
But yeah.
And how have you found the Wedding Help NI community? How have you found that for your business?
It is brilliant. I would say 95%, if not more, of my bookings come through the Wedding Help. I think
it's different for every vendor, and I think especially for cakes and stuff, it's one of them things you don't know where to look. And I think Wedding Help is a great thing for like, you know, the likes of people doing cakes, or you know, because it's not like entertainment where you watch a video or something, you go, I like that. With a cake, you really, you know, you'll taste and stuff. But Wedding Help can be great for your sort of business as well to get it out there.
It is brilliant. You know? It's so handy. And even if you're not sure, like even just having a wee search on the wee Facebook page, and it just comes up. And even popping a wee post up, and you're guaranteed the vendors are going to be straight on advising the couples.
I think the suppliers group, our suppliers group's brilliant, because you can go on there
Yeah.
And I always think it's wild to say, but if you need information on a wedding,
you're getting it straight away.
Who's at this wedding, and you're getting it, because there's somebody else on the wedding help that's going to be at the wedding, and they can give you times or whatever, to be there and stuff,
Yeah,
so
and it is a great group of vendors, I do have to say. They are very nice, and that it is a great wee group of.
So you're enjoying all that?
Oh, aye.
That's
I'm here for it.
Designing cakes and I suppose tiers as well. Go on to that. Tell me a bit about that and stuff.
I think when people are planning their wedding, they have it in the head, traditional wedding, it has to be a 3 or a 4-tier cake. It honestly doesn't. We do packages that have like a single tier cake, and then it has cupcakes and cookies, and then as an assortment of tray bakes, so caramel squares, 15s, rocky roads. You get to choose your tray bakes.
Yeah.
And then we have like macarons and cakesicles, cake pops.
So lots
so
of
there's
different.
such a vast variety, and I think maybe they go on Pinterest and then they just fall down the rabbit hole and they're like, I do not know what I want, and I'm just like, that is absolutely fine. Let me know. Do you want? I
suppose that can be that can be a good thing and it can be a bad thing. Something like Pinterest. Because some of the stuff you might see, it's just
some of it's AI and it's not real.
You're not getting. It can sometimes be, but whenever you chat to you, I suppose you're able to tell the couples, well, tell us what you're thinking, and then we'll try and bring it to life. Or we're saying maybe you can't do that, but you can. But it's just mad to try and do that. But bring
like a lot of couples, they might like elements from different cakes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that's fine. I can add that, maybe it's pearls and a bit of gold detail. It's like, I can add that and it's then your own cake to your needs.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. So it has a twist on the cakes that you've seen.
Aye.
But buttercream is quite popular at the minute with like the wee scallop detail and the pearls and that would be the most popular design at the minute.
Right.
And then they're maybe bringing in that pop of colour with their flowers.
Right, so, and I suppose that's important as well, that you know all that. And is that something closer to the time that you be looking at, or what way does that work? How does a couple get in touch with you closer to the time?
Yeah, so about 6 weeks before the wedding, I'll touch base. One, to make sure everything is fine. We're going to the same venue. Get what time their ceremony is at. If it's at the venue, my fear is I'm walking in to set up a cake mid-ceremony. And I'm just like, I like to know all the details.
And I suppose it's important as well. And now, especially the last week or so, like I'm sitting here in a pair of shorts, but this is our summer, so it is. And that's a big one. When I was doing a wedding the other week, that's what they were saying. The cake, they were panicking, and the cake lady had held off because I suppose cakes can with the heat and stuff.
Yeah. I try and reinforce the cakes as much as I can.
Yeah.
So my crumb coat sort of thing, you're probably going, what's a crumb coat?
Aye.
It's the bit that surrounds the cake, so I would maybe use my ganache under my buttercream.
Right.
And it just is that I would use ganache on all my cakes. Aye. It is a lot sturdier, and it does hold up to the heat a lot better. Aircon on, blasting to keep that cake cool, and then telling the venue, keep the aircon on in that room. Do not turn it off. Not in front of a window, especially in this heat. Not in front of a window.
And funny, like that wedding I was at the all week, it was, I think we're having our summer now at the minute.
Yeah, and not.
I would say we're.
I'd say the earlier it comes, you're not having a great summer.
but it was, that it was sitting right beside the window and stuff. And, you could see that. Like, I suppose now we're in wedding season, you do get warm days and stuff. So it's always a fear,
it is
like, you know what I mean?
Getting your timing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So it's not just take the cakes and off we go.
What are flavours then? So buttercup, you were saying.
So buttercream finish cakes are the most popular at the minute. We do still do a few fondant cakes. It changes. It's so funny how it changes.
I suppose that's a good thing for couples as well, because if it is, if they're touching base with you 6 weeks before, you can give a bit of advice and sort of things and go, well, do you know what, this is popular at the minute, it might suit you, and you can really get that information, Well,
I asked them, I would give them different size options.
Yeah.
So couples don't need a cake to feed their total number of guests. Because not everybody will eat cake.
Right.
And again, we're trying to cut back on the wastage.
I suppose that's important too as well, and so if a couple tells you they have 120 at a wedding, you can sort of recommend the size.
I do, I give them different sizes, because I think the average wedding's about 100, 120 these days.
Yeah.
And then I would give them 2-tier options. and what number they would feed, because they don't need the traditional 3-tier cake.
No, that's
so I do give them different options and different sizes.
Can you do the thing as well with there's part of the cake that's a fake part of the cake?
We can if they want. If they want a fake cake, we can. I think a lot are under the illusion that fake cakes are dramatically cheaper. They're actually not.
No, I suppose it has to look the part too, so it's.
It does have to look the part, but the actual fake cake itself to purchase is not cheap. It's not. So there is a slight reduction for me personally. You do get a slight reduction, but it's not like it's going to be half the price or anything like that.
It's not going to save you in the long run.
And then we do have some dummy cakes on display that if they wanted to hire,
right,
you could just hire whatever designs I have in shop.
Oh, great!
But if they're wanting one tailored to their requirements, it's pretty much near the same price as a standard cake, so you may as well go standard. Exactly.
And what are tips is there as well whenever it comes to, have you any tips as well that I suppose couples should be thinking about as well?
You don't need a cake to feed your total number of guests, so we can cut back that way. Saving any cake that you have at the end of the day, you don't want it to be thrown out. And then you don't have to go just all vanilla. You can shake it up, so if you're having different tiers, you can do 2 or 3 different flavours.
And it gives everybody an option, maybe if somebody likes something and stuff as well.
Because I had a bride a couple of weeks ago and everything was just vanilla. And I'm like, we do have other flavours. I was like, do you want it? And she was like, oh my God, I never even thought of that. Please. So she ended up, the cake itself was 3 different flavours. And then she had vanilla cake pops and the cupcakes and the cookies. She went all out. So she did.
And the cake pops have become so popular now, haven't they?
Cake pops. So we do the cake pops and then we do cakesicles. So they kind of look
What's cakesicle? That's a new one now.
So it looks like a mini Magnum.
Right.
So, but it's cake and it's dipped in your chocolate and that.
Very good.
That would be in one of our packages. So it is the Serendipity package. You would get that, a 2-tier cake, macarons, cakesicles, sugar cookies and cupcakes. And
the likes of the cake pops and all, would they come out during dessert, or what part of the day do you sort of reckon they?
Well, if they're just wanting, some have them as favours, so they're sitting on the table. It's up to the bride. Every bride's too, different. The one I had a couple of weeks ago, she had the cake in the middle, and then we stands. Right. And the cake pops were on the top, and then cookies, and then cupcakes.
I suppose as well with the cookies and the cake pops and all, that stuff as well, it's easy to sort of, people can grab them whenever they're ready to go. Yeah. Because cake, as it has to be cut up and stuff. Yeah. And some hotels, they're not as, I suppose, active at doing that. Yeah. So the cake pops all can be really good that way. Especially if you have a lot of kids at your wedding. That's brilliant.
They're not going to eat a big slice of cake.
No, so that's brilliant.
So a wee cake pop or a wee cookie is really good for them. And then with the cake bar, with the cakes having lids, kids' eyes are bigger than their bellies. So they maybe only have
the cake bar, I think that's brilliant. I do because I've seen the wee tubs and stuff, and it is great. It's brilliant, that sort of way, because as you say, it can be kept then as well. Do you know what I mean?
And then we offer different packages with the cake bar as well. So we have different size of tins. So with the bronze and the silver, and then our gold package has slab cakes for the evening and a fake cake.
Brilliant.
So I think couples think if I have the cake bar, I'm not getting that photograph. I have you covered.
Brilliant.
So we have a fake cake that you can get your photograph while we're serving your guests, and you can add that onto the bronze and the silver.
Brilliant.
And it's included in the gold.
Brilliant. So what's your easiest way to contact for couples that's looking to make contact with you?
So if they pop me a message, either Facebook or Instagram, or even email me, I send them an inquiry form. They fill it out, as much info as they can, and then I'll give them the different prices and that. So they would need to let me know, if they're wanting cake or the cake bar, the date of the wedding, venue. Most importantly, venue where I'm going. And then I just go through everything with them, and it means they're in black and white, and they can have a wee think and come back. Because sometimes if you're on a phone call, things get...
I always think even WhatsApp can be brilliant, because you can sort of go back on WhatsApp. You can
go back. Anything where it's written down, so email, WhatsApp, even a text message.
It's there, and it's there, and you can see everything that you're doing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because I don't know what other people are like, but 5 minutes later, I'm like, I can't remember what I just done there. So
exactly the same.
I write down everything, so I have lists for my lists. Yeah. So everything's military precision. So even if a bride does phone me, I will take the call and I'll be like, yep, that's fine. We'll follow it up. So we have something written down and then they can have a wee think. And then if they want to book us in, we can get them booked in.
And of course, trying is the main thing, isn't it? You're trying, so we'll have to give everybody a sample here. So we'll
just need a cup of tea.
A cup of tea now. It is very good. It is very good.
What was that? The lemon and coconut?
That's a lemon and coconut, so it is. So there we go. That is Michelle from Bella Torta. And that has been our episode. Thank you so much for listening. Bye for now.